Hi Virgo, welcome to Moonbeam's Messages. This is your collective reading. Now, I'm sorry for it being late this week. I have decided not to do the self-reflection reflection readings that I would have normally been doing. I wanted to change up the offering a little bit, so we're going to do a Celtic Cross today. If you do have any ideas of what kind of readings you would like, please pop them in the comments because I am trying to change up my offerings a little bit. I do get a little bit bored doing the same thing over and over again, so I'm still going to do the monthly read and the love reads because everybody enjoys those. But then the self reflection and the finance reads, I'm thinking of swapping up. It might not be every month, it could be every other month. So if you've got any kind of ideas on what you would like to see, please let me know in the comments and I will see what I can fit in and see what I can find. If not, I'm just going to have a look through my spreads and see what kind of spreads I can do and just have a bit of a play. So you might find different readings popping up from me. Right, let's get into this then. So I'm going to pull you a angel number card to start with. So we get a bit of an overall feeling for the read. They are really awkward to shuffle because they're massive. So I am having to split the decks to get one out. So your overall card then, we have 333 for support. And that's not showing up at all, is it? So the universe is sending you love, support, and guidance. So that's what we've got for your overall read for today then. So let's get into it and see what this support is that is being sent to you and why. So Spirit, can we get what's going on for Virgo? What is going on for Virgo? Or what's coming up for Virgo? What's coming in? Okay, so let's get into this then. Interesting. So, yeah, so I can understand why you're getting the support card. So, very much you feel like you don't know what's going on at the moment. You feel like you're in the dark, potentially scared of the future and of the unknown. A lot of fears, very much. Definitely feeling like you want to know what's going to happen, what's coming up, but you just don't have the answers and no one can give you the answers. And it's, to me, it very much feels like you're trying to use your intuition as well to help guide your way, but it might be a little bit blocked. And that's very much why you're getting a lot of support from the universe to help you work your way through the darkness. Yeah. So your challenge, again, we've got the High Priestess. So your challenge and your obstacles is very much using your intuition to guide your way through this darkness, this fear that you're going through. It could be a very dark time for you. Maybe it's just that you're in the middle of something brand new and you've got no idea how it's going to play out. You don't know what way to go, what moves to do. And it's very much suggesting to me that you do want to move forward. You want honesty, clarity, you want forward movement, and you want it to happen quickly. But you don't necessarily know how it's going to happen or how to go about it or what's going to happen when you do have that move forward. Now, from the look of it, it looks as though you've trying to move away from betrayal. It's very much suggesting that in the past or things that have happened to you, there's potentially been disagreements, betrayal, being stabbed in the back, arguments, fighting. You're very much trying to move away from all of that. Very much trying to, yeah, move forward, but you don't necessarily know how it's going to end. It could even be that you want to go and talk to someone as well. Maybe there's some sort of conversation that you feel needs to happen, but you don't know how it's going to end. Now, it looks as though you've had your defences up in the past, or somebody had defences up. This is very much you cutting people off, very much suggesting to me that in the past you had your barriers up, you weren't letting anyone near you, very much keeping yourself to yourself, being very independent, being very guarded, not wanting anyone to come near you with any kind of crap. And I'm assuming that's all because of this betrayal, being stabbed in the back, whatever arguments and fighting that was going on. Now, that could even be within yourself, and you're trying to find clarity with that Queen of Swords in the past. In the future, we do have a Queen of Wands in the reverse, which is suggesting to me that you might be lacking a bit of confidence in the future, that things are going your way. Maybe certain passions that you had previously have changed. You could also be acting a little bit naive in the future with regards to something. So that Queen of Wands, now it could be somebody else in your energy, but this to me is more you about your future. It could be somebody in your energy in the future. It could be somebody that's a little bit vindictive. The Queen of Wands in the reverse can be quite a nasty person. And they could be cold and vindictive and, yeah, a bit, I want to say spiteful, very much expecting things to be given to them. So maybe there's somebody like that in your future. It could even be that you're going to be acting a bit like that in your future. Maybe you've given a lot in the past. I don't think it is, though. I think it's more you being unconfident because you've got this moon card here and you're wanting to know what's going to happen, but you feel like you're in the unknown. To me, this very much feels like you're just not confident about where you're going and what's going to happen. You feel quite skeptical about whether things are going to turn out right for you, whether you're going to have what you want, whether you feel like you're good enough. And it does very much look like a confidence issue, purely because it's like because you're trying to lean into your intuition. Maybe your intuition's failed you a little bit in the past, or it's been blocked, and you're now having to lean into it, but you're not confident that your intuition is what you're listening to. I know I've had in the past issues where I've had, like when I was learning or when I've been learning to use my intuition, I'm an overthinker and I do think a lot. And it's at what point is it your intuition or is it your thoughts? Because your intuition is all about your feeling, but sometimes you convince yourself you're feeling something else. So if you're somebody that does that, it's getting back into that confidence of relying on your gut, relying on your heart, especially if you don't trust your heart, you know. So it could very well be that you might be feeling like you're not confident enough to go through with things because you don't know whether you're doing the right thing or not because of you having this lack of intuition, this lack of insight, being in the dark, not knowing what's coming forward. And you could have a lot of fear in there as well that's impacting on this, especially if there's, some sort of communication that's not happening. Because this is very much you wanting to move forward with honesty, clarity, truthfulness. And that's your goal, but betrayal, deception. So whether or not if you were to get honesty and clarity, would you believe it because of betrayal and deception that's happened in the past? You know, because at the end of the day, that why you want this honesty and clarity is because of some sort of betrayal, deception, arguments that have happened that's caused you to cut people off. But you just don't know if you believe anything, very much feeling like you're not confident about whether you would believe what the outcome is, or what you're being told, or what's coming forward towards you. I mean, it could be something as simple as maybe there's something happened at work and there's a bit of deception going on, or there's a bit of a reshuffle. Maybe you're looking at departments changing around, and maybe you're offered a brand new job, but you don't trust it, thinking, well, do I deserve it? Is it what they're saying it's going to be? Is it going to be as simple as that? You know, that kind of lacking the confidence in yourself might maybe feeling like you've got a little bit of imposter syndrome, kind of. That's the way I'm seeing that. Now, how you are looking at yourself and your attitude to everything, though, you're giving everything your full heart. You're very much feeling happy, content. You are very much wanting that happy family, the emotional fulfillment, and you're striving forward for it, and you are feeling happy within yourself. It's just that you aren't trusting what you're seeing. You're not trusting certain things about it, but you're feeling very happy, which is lovely, because this is very much, your whole attitude towards things. How are you viewing yourself? And you're very happy within yourself. You're very much feeling like you're at peace with yourself. So you could have gone through a hell of a lot to have hit this point in time, but obviously you're lacking some sort of confidence about the future. Obviously, the unknown of the future is a little bit different to how you're looking at yourself. And you can have lots of confidence in yourself, but you know that you're going to be able to, deal with whatever comes along. But it's very much, do you want it to come along? Do you not want it to come along? And, having that kind of, what do I do with that kind of attitude? But yeah, I like seeing that Ten of Cups there. It's a lovely one. Now, interestingly, other people are seeing either you walking away from betrayal and backstabbing, or other people are walking away from something that is influencing you at the moment. Maybe an exit of a particular person, but it's not something you can control. This is very much somebody having to learn. Either somebody's learning a lesson, they're coming to an end of a chapter in their life where they've been stabbed in the back and they've been betrayed themselves and they're having to go through it. Could also be that they've gone through a lot of depression here as well. It could simply be that maybe you're at work. I said about, you've been offered a job potentially and you think, oh, do I want it? Don't I want it? Maybe you've got somebody that's walked away into a new job and they're planning on pulling you through with them, but you can't see it, you know? You don't know what's going on there. I mean, it could be if there's been something in the past, maybe here where you've had, arguments, betrayal and stabbing in the back. Maybe it's happened to someone else. Or maybe it was a bit of both. Maybe you've stabbed someone in the back, they've stabbed you in the back, kind of energy, and this is what's influencing, whoever this person is that's feeling like that they've gone through it effectively. I'm also wondering whether they feel like you've betrayed them and they're walking away from it, or whether, because somebody's definitely walking away and it's affecting you, but what they're walking away from, I'm not sure, because it is, like I say, it's external. It's nothing to do with you. They're walking away from something. Maybe they're coming towards you because they're walking away from something. I'm not sure. But something they're walking away from is indirectly affecting you somehow. It could be, as daft as it sounds, maybe somebody was doing a lot of self-sabotaging and they're now changing that up. And it could just be that they're starting to treat you a lot nicer. Now, your hopes and fears, we've got a Seven of Swords. So you're scared of deceit. Very much feeling scared of betrayal again. Which is understandable. Looks like you've gone through it. You look like you've gone through the ringer here. You're scared of secrecy, which doesn't help you with this moon, and that could be very much why you're not feeling confident, because the moon's not telling you what's going on and you're scared of it. Just very much reiterating the fact that you're fearing the unknown here. You're scared of not knowing what's happening. You're scared of the secrecy. You're scared of things not being out in the open. Now, it could also be that you hope that you can do things that not necessarily go under the radar, but maybe you're doing certain things that you're hoping you get away with. Maybe you're just planning things very quietly and hoping that, those plans come into fruition. It could even be maybe you're looking for a new job and you're secretly not telling anyone you work with, and you're planning to free yourself up from it and you're going to be moving forward. And now your outcome, we've got the Wheel and we've got the Emperor both in the reverse. So this is telling me that you may be going through a bit of a karmic cycle at the moment, or this very much feels like it could be a karmic cycle. And it's something to do with you controlling the situation. Because the Emperor is very much having a lack, when he's in the reverse, it's a lack of control. Now, obviously, it doesn't have to be a he. Gender's fluid within tarot, so feel free to swap genders wherever you're seeing them. It's just personality traits and energies. So here, to me, it looks very much like it's a lesson that hasn't been fully learned. You could be still stuck on a karmic cycle, learning a lesson about control and having a lack of control. Now, whether that's a lack of self-control or whether it is you trying to control other people and situations, I'm not sure, but it's still very much a lesson that you haven't finished learning there. And that could be very much why you've got all this fear of the unknown going on. Maybe you like to have a lot of control of all the different situations that you're involved in. But even though you know you can't control other people's actions, it doesn't mean that you don't want to control the outcome. Do you know what I mean? But very much here suggesting to me there's definitely some sort of karmic cycle still ongoing. Now, it could just be that you're in the middle of a bit of a test here. And it could be that you're faced with someone at the end of you going through this, when things come to light, when you've managed to have that conversation and clarity, you might be faced with a decision as an outcome that has something to do with somebody that's an emperor. And it could very well be that, so it could be that you were going, it's like, it could be a test to see whether or not you've learnt from the past, whether you've learnt your lessons that you need to, that revolve around a particular person. So the emperor can be a father figure. It could be somebody you've got children with. It could be a father-in-law. It could be a boss at work. Anybody with some sort of authority. that you view some sort of control over what you do. Very much looks as though you could be faced with a bit of it could be like it's like the world giving you a bit of a challenge, and that's very much why it's unknown. You don't know what an outcome's going to be, and you're potentially facing a repeat of a karmic cycle with an emperor. Now, it could also be simply that, like I say, that you've got to learn a lesson about control, and you might be stuck or feel like you're stuck on that cycle until you've learnt it. You may have a little bit of karma to pay here with regards to sometimes the emperor in reverse can be a bit of a dictator as well. He is very much somebody who wants to control everything and tell you you have to do it my way, and that's the only way to do it. So potentially that's what you need to learn, that other people will do things in their own ways, that there's more ways than just your way to do things, that you can't necessarily have everything your way, do everything yourself. I'm not seeing it as a bad outcome. I am just seeing it as there is potentially a lesson to be learnt here somewhere. And I do feel like it's a lot to do with your fear of the unknown and your control, I'll be honest. Because let's face it, as Virgos, or at least a good few Virgos that I know, like to control certain situations or like to know what's going on at least and know what the outcomes are. But very much here having that fear of the unknown, fear of things being kept from you, fear of deception, you know. And that could be very much what it is as well. Instead of having to use analytics to work through things, leaning into that intuition, maybe you use analytics too much to work out all your answers instead of listening to your heart. And that's potentially where we've got this big fat moon coming in on everything, telling you intuition plays a big, big part in these. Very much that you need to lean into your intuition. Right, I'm going to get you some Moonology cards now to see if we've got any timelines that we can get from this for you. So from the look of the cards I've got so far, okay, so we've got two that look like they're going to be reoccurring, so things that you're potentially working on every month. You might see certain things happening every couple of weeks, especially with regards to the unknown, possibly you fearing that, cutting people out. So we've got have faith in your dreams, waxing crescent moon, and we've got what do you need to release, waning moon. So to me, they're pretty much 2 weeks apart. Is it 2 weeks? It's a 4-week cycle. Yeah, roughly. So you might find that, every other week something tends to crop up that you've sitting there trying to work out. You might be trying to lean into your intuition every other week and not necessarily knowing whether you're doing it right. We've got you are good enough, full moon in Virgo, and meditate and contemplate, new moon in Pisces. So the new moon in Pisces is the 28th of February, and then that full moon in Virgo is actually the 14th of March. So potentially you're going to be faced with this outcome, this potential challenge, learning wheel somewhere between the 28th of February and the 14th of March. And that could be very much why you've got these sitting in the middle. It could very well be that you've got one of those, in between. So either side of it, possibly. I don't even know if I've got those. But yeah, so either side. So February, mid-February to mid-March. Well, sorry, mid-February to the end of March possibly is when you may be looking at this happening. So not actually too far away. So yeah, so the universe is sending you a lot of support, guidance and love. So with this high priestess, obviously with it being a big challenge for you, leaning into that intuition, make sure that you're doing a lot of self-care, potentially taking time out to listen to yourself, meditate, whatever else you need, because you have got guidance coming in. There's downloads coming towards you. I know me personally, I keep seeing 555 all over the place, and that's all about change. So, keep an eye out for your signs and synchronicities as well, because your angels and spirits have got messages for you, but they're sending you a lot of support. They're sending you a lot of love for whatever it is that you're going through. But making sure that you're leaning into that intuition, using that heart over your head, having that when you have that gut feeling whether something's right or wrong, make sure that you're listening to it. Right, I hope you enjoyed your reading today, Virgo. If you did, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It will help pass the message on to anyone else that needs to hear it. If you want to hear more from me, don't forget to press subscribe. And if you press that notification bell, it will let you know when I do post new content. But like I say, if you do have any other kind of readings that you'd like me to try, or I say try to do, please don't hesitate to pop them in the comments. I will look over them all and see what I can do, because I do want to change up my offerings a little bit, especially with me coming up to 500 subscribers soon. I'd like to have a little bit more to offer. So yeah, good luck and thank you very much for joining me.